So we're back for a great episode of Savoir, Brooklyn. We got the home slice in the building. Everybody asking where's Jazzy and Hat5he5ut. Well, got Hat5he5ut right here.
Ta-da, it's me.
Jazzy's out building her real estate empire.
Yeah.
But she does visit the village of Calitoville on a pretty regular basis.
Still trying to figure out where that is, actually.
Hey, but we got Hat5he5ut in the building, man. So to clear the air, there's no smoke, there's no beef.
People think we're beefing in the streets?
Yeah, listen, there was no podcast breakup.
Oh my gosh, no.
Like, the team is still the team. It's more so like it's like Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang never broke up, but they all had solo albums and solo projects.
That's beautiful. That's it right there.
You know what I mean? And she's confirming on camera with a smile on her face. Right? So, when y'all see me, I don't need none of your followers or Jazzy followers giving me like side eyes. I'm walking around, like biking around, cycling around, jogging around, and getting dirty looks.
For real, people are not giving you dirty looks.
It was maybe like one person. But one too many. But yeah, how you been?
I got some questions too.
How's life?
Life's good.
You said you got questions?
I did get some questions too. Like, yo, what's up with the pod, whatever. I was like, yo, we have a lot going on individually, and you know, but this wasn't a bad breakup, no.
No, and it wasn't a breakup. Like I said, we still come together. They still come to the events. Mm-hmm. She helped launch the new version of the podcast, so
yeah.
So you will definitely see both Hat5he5ut and Jazzy popping up from time to time, as often as they want to, right? But Hat5he5ut also got a lot of dope ish going on too that she's gonna get into. But how is life?
I mean, so it's a lot slower these days, these recent days, like the month of July. But they were pretty hectic with the parade. So I think we had shared that with the Stereo Bros audience, but not necessarily the Savoir Brooklyn audience. But through the Melanin Project, which is my experiential marketing and creative design company, I helped produce the first ever Haitian Heritage Parade.
No. Say that louder. The first of all, first.
Okay, boom. It's a couple of things that we did.
Talk that talk, man.
Okay, so it was the first ever Afro-Caribbean parade held in Manhattan ever. So Haiti did that. We did that. It's in alignment with. It's on brands. You know what I mean? It's on brands. Thank you. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, but the Puerto Ricans have a parade and the Dominicans have a parade, and they do, and they've been beautiful.
And that's great.
But if we're talking about, you know, Afro-Caribbean history, like we put our connection to the continent in our parade, right? That has never been seen. And so what has become the West Indian Carnival Association, they started, their predecessors kind of started in Harlem in like the 20s. And it was just in a ballroom, and then it eventually like kind of outgrew the ballroom.
But there was Haitians in New York in the 20s?
They were, the Caribbean was here in the 20s.
No way. I thought y'all got here in the 60s and the 70s.
No, there were people here. There were people here. And you know, it's a lot of folks that I think it's a Dr. Gertrude. She's done such a good job on social media, like educating people about Haitian history.
Got it.
Right, you know what I'm talking about.
I think I've seen her page.
Yeah.
Because there's that one, and then it's the Black History Unlocked, which is great too.
And she talked about the only person, black person on the Titanic was a Haitian man.
Of course.
Some money, you know what I mean? So
he survived.
No, so he did not, but his family did. They made it out. But anyway, en tout cas,
it's too. I was gonna say he should have been like, please have a child, and jumped in a lifeboat.
But you know, his wife was able to do that and with the children and such. But
no Titanic jokes.
No Titanic jokes. But so we became the first nation to have a Afro-Caribbean parade in Manhattan, and the predecessors of the West Indian Day Carnival Association started in Harlem in the 20s, eventually grew out into a larger production, But they were then kicked out of, they got the permit revoked in the 60s. And we should ask why.
J. Edgar Hoover,
you know what I'm saying?
Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I wouldn't really be like, oh, it was them and the ruckus. No, I mean, it's giving.
But the time machine, though.
You know what I mean? It's giving 60s.
COINTELPRO, yeah.
It's giving 60s. And so they disbanded for about, well, not disbanded, but they didn't have a production for about 5 years, I believe, and then they reestablished in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And so, no, there hasn't been Afro-Caribbean representation in Manhattan since the 60s. So this parade was like the first since then. So, me, through my production company, were able to like, at first, our scope was just to do creative design, like just some assets, a website, social media, some things you can share, sponsorship kits, things like that. And then when the internal team kind of found that resources kind of weren't coming in, it's an ad hoc team too. So like there isn't a structure for anything, you know, and everyone is kind of like, we ain't really do this before. You know, you ever put a parade on before? Like that's some new stuff. So even for me, I just was like, I'm not really certain how we move forward with this. Is this the same that if I did this, you know? So there was a lot of experimenting there, but it quickly kind of turned into this role where I was like pseudo parade director on this now because I'm touching so many buckets in its production. I'm still handling all of their media. I'm still handling like a lot of the, if we need creative design right then and there, I can design. So then here I go, like either doing it myself or I'm coordinating with someone we had in another country. Like it was a lot happening and a lot of work, but it was massive, and I didn't even, the feeling of being there is just, I think, something I won't forget.
You did that. Bigger feeling, probating your line or probating, actually, you know what, no, we ain't gonna compare, because what I definitely don't want is Pi Diddy running down on me,
you don't want that.
individually or collectively. But what can you equate that feeling to of like probating a parade, like debuting a
you know what
production
it
that
was
massive?
like? It was like when it's not the probate, it's when you get your jacket.
Oh,
it's when the jacket's on.
The varsity.
Woo!
The first day you put the varsity on, you step outside like, oh man, I'm gonna take the long way to take the long way to the podium or the camera center.
It's when you get the jacket. It might even be a touch because what I didn't anticipate after, I thought the parade was gonna be done at the top of June, and I was going to just resume life or just go have a good time somewhere. And June was so lit because the back end of the parade is happening now, and now it's uber lit back there, and so. I at first it was the getting the jacket, like, oh shit, you know, like I do a lot of vlogging for myself, right? And I have this quick video of me running down Central Park West, and I'm like, holy shit, bitch.
That's dope.
I'm like, holy shit, bitch, niggas showed up for we threw a parade, it's about to start, like the mayor is here. Because you just look up and down and you're like, folks actually showed up. Like, we are really standing here. There are really floats. There are really costumes. There's really 1,000 people. Pix 11 is really here. ABC is really here. You know what I'm saying? And they are asking for you. And you are like, boy, what is going on? So it's kind of surreal when that happens. But the moment that you like, that first day on campus, right after with the jacket, that was the rest of June.
It's like, yo,
yeah,
yo, you was the deuce.
Yeah,
like, oh, welcome back. Oh
my gosh, that was the rest of the month, and I was like, oh, heard, I'm a whole Neo all over again.
That's
you know,
that's phenomenal. I mean,
yeah.
So was it like Haitian float where it was just like super loud, super lit, or was it more festive, historical? Like, can you break down what you produce? Because I think in people's minds, they might assume that you basically brought the Haitian floats from Labor Day to Manhattan.
Okay, sure. So the difference, and there are two big differences. So first I will say that there is already a Haitian parade in Brooklyn. that happens. The pandemic put a pause to it, but it already happens, and it happens on Nostrand Avenue. It's been happening for a few years now.
I feel like it was recent too.
Yeah, they did have one this year. They did have one this year, and so our parade is not the parade. This parade was not a replacement of that. This parade was more pageantry, and I think what we know now, based on the reception we got, because the parade made every major network, but it also then made The View that Monday with a spotlight with Sunny Hostin, and then it made a few international. I mean, like the thing made waves, and it's mainly because.
Just to clarify, The View, is that the one with Oprah or the other one?
That's the one with Oprah.
Okay,
not Oprah. Excuse me. That's the one with Whoopi Goldberg.
Thank you.
That's the one you meant by the other one.
Yeah. No, I'm like, is it Whoopi? Like Whoopi's on one of those.
It's some color purple character. I'm not
it's
sure.
It's Whoopi, and then it's fake Bette Midler.
Oh, she went to Stony Brook. You know, she's a Seawolf.
We mentioned that way back when. Yeah. So that's fake Bette Midler.
She do look like Bette Midler. She do, but so yes, there's a parade, and this parade was no replacement to that one. Ours was focused more on pageantry and history. So we had 10 floats that we curated uninterrupted, right? And so ours was like allegorical. We have time periods of Haitian history that we are representing in different floats.
Allegorical. You got to break down what that word means.
Allegory is story, right? Like, so it's essentially we were storytelling through these 10 floats. We had some other people, like we had Haitian American Nurses Association, we had Haitian Corrections Officers.
So 10,000 nurses out there?
No, not 10,000 nurses. We do got mad nurses. But
speaking of Haitians, y'all got all the nurses. Good morning. How are you? You did not get a twig?
First of all.
Dad, you want a twig, Dad? You want a twig? Yeah, ma. Merci. Oh.
You do not get to disrespect the R.
Nah, listen. Shout out to my Haitian nurses.
With our R's.
Shout out to Haitian nurses. They always take care of me.
Yeah, that's a fact. But we be in abundance. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, we do be in abundance. But yeah, we had a lot of Haitian organizations that were represented, Haitian judges that were represented, and I think that was the first time that people got a chance, because at the Parkway it's a different type of energy. It's celebratory.
Celebratory.
It's festive. It's like.
Lust.
But it is
violence.
No, listen. But it's a more festive like experience. This was really like a parade. You watch a parade, right? There was dancing and stuff like that on the side. Absolutely, but so we watched all these. You know, we had the Panamanian bands. They were the first other country to participate in our parade.
Dope.
So their bands marched. We had a Haitian American law enforcement that did the color guard for us and such. And afterwards, we then took 10 floats and we told the story of Ana Kaona, who was the Taino caciques, who in Haiti Quisqueya history, right? I didn't want to call it Hispaniola, but in that whole land masses history, we used to have caciques, chiefs. And so there were 5 districts. Ana Kaona was the wife to the chief of one district and the sister to the chief of another district. So she connects what is like DR in Haiti from the very beginning. So like a lot of Dominicans will be like, yeah, we have Taino roots, and they recognize Ana Kaona as one of them, but naturally, because, you know, they're...
I'm not black, yo.
Not me. So there was a lot of, so, you know, a lot of people will like, not fight over it, but they can claim it because she was the connecting piece. So we had a float dedicated to her. A lot of viral video that's on social media. There's a beautiful Haitian model with a short fro and a beautiful green gown. That was the Ana Kaona she was the Ana Kaona in our parade. We had 16 queens and kings. And so we did one period for Ana Kaona. We did one for the revolutionaries, where all the women were dressed up as Sanité Belair, who was a lieutenant, and who, you know, her and her husband, they fought alongside each other. When her and her husband were captured, they were going to kill her differently because she was a woman, and they were going to give him death by firing squad because he was a man. And she requested death by firing squad because she fought too, you know. Gangster. And then counted them down. Like, I mean, yeah, literally just like, you know, gave her party words or whatever, but that's gangster. So we had the indigenous army represented. And a lot of people don't know the indigenous army was 80% women. But anywho.
That's why you like that movie so much with old girl.
The Woman King?
Yeah.
That's historical, you know?
So did the guys you mentioned, the names I just forgot, the different chiefs. Caciques. Did they also have the Jerry curl just like in Woman is King? And then they had the Jerry curl.
First of all,
did they have the Jerry curls in IT?
I didn't see any evidence of Jerry curls at the parade. Can
I'm
we
just
talk
saying,
about the Jerry curl? Because it was a real Jerry curl.
I'm watching that shit in the movie theater. I'm like, yo, this nigga got a Jerry curl. And at first people was like, why is he telling me? He was like, yo, nah, son, not for nothing. Yo, boy got a Jerry curl. I'm like, yo, bro, like, listen, I ain't trying to talk to the whole movie, but I'm just asking out loud. Does this nigga really got a Jerry curl? People was like laughing.
No, because you know it's kind of lazy on the hair part. The fact that they gave this man a straight.
Yo, shut up! Like,
but maybe they had, you know, Dahomian curls. They probably wasn't even called Jerry curls. It was called like D curls or something.
D curls, yeah.
You know.
Wife too. I need my D curls.
Yeah, like.
But listen, no hate on John Boyega. You know.
I love him actually.
I don't like him in Star Wars because he was getting thrashed.
I like him as a person. I feel like he's exactly who he says he is.
He's a nice person, but I'm a Star Wars guy. He was getting thrashed in Star Wars, which I didn't like. But I liked him in Woman is King. But I could have played that role too.
Okay.
Not about me.
He did his thing. Shout out to him.
He did his thing. But I think it's very... So as I'm hearing this, I count 20 floats already because you said there was 10 for this. There was 10 for that.
No, it was 10 altogether. And then we would do like one was dedicated to Anacona. We had a performing artist on that one. Then we had another one dedicated to the heroes. And that was, I don't think anybody was on that float. Then we had another one dedicated to just indigenous people, and we had like the floats and such. And so we put a Racine group on that Emmy nominated group, Bookman Experience, on that float. And then it continued that way. Our last float, what I should say also is that a few of the floats, I think 5 of them, were dedicated to secret societies. And I thought that was the most beautiful part of it because when we hear about Haitian voodoo, right, it's scary to even say it. In this process of putting this parade together, every time I had to talk to a potential community partner or a potential sponsor and talk to them about, you know, what we're going to do around voodoo, black people, and more black people than anything else, to be honest, there was such fear.
Blame Steven Seagal.
I mean, yes,
and Mark for Death back in the 90s. In the movies, well, it was Jamaicans mostly, which is crazy. It was like Jamaican people doing voodoo and chopping heads off and sacrificing people.
Well, they have obia. In Jamaica, it's obia, but it's...
Right, but I'm saying, because I saw that movie as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was watching Mark for Death as a kid.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
But, yeah, as a kid, it was crazy on Pix 11, so I'm happy that you're able to have those conversations in a more fruitful way, in a way that kind of moves the needle, because you know, as kids we got a lot of bad information about IT and about Africa as well. Yeah,
it's, you know, Hollywood has not done us many favors, us being like Haitians, and this spiritual tradition of voodoo is just like Christianity or Islam or anything else. And Chucky, you know, saying certain deities' names and all kinds of stuff. You know, he was wilding for a second.
Chucky was wilding.
But, you know, there was... voodoo has always been told from the perspective of somebody outside of voodoo. Not very often is it told, at least at this scale, from someone who is inside it, right? And I feel like, you know, as a committee of Haitian people, both some born on the island, some born outside the island, like different things like that, different age groups, generations, to be able to work towards a parade that can have a section, 5 different floats dedicated to secret societies in voodoo was amazing. I mean, like, there were people who couldn't understand like why there was such pageantry involved with it, and it's because for people who have a real understanding of the fact that voodoo is a cultural element to a spiritual tradition, then nothing ugly exists there. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing ugly exists there. What is ugly is when people, you know, pervert it with their own like kind of like, you know, disgusting intentions, or use it to navigate poverty but are willing to do it with no standards. Like, you know, you're not going to do a reading, you know, above ground, or you're not going to do a work above ground or with your right hand, if you say, because you're hungry. You willing to do anything because you're hungry. You know what I'm saying? You willing to pervert this system because you're hungry. We don't want you to be hungry, but the system is taking a blow as a result of you, you know? So it was really refreshing to be able to pair and to have these floats dedicated to voodoo history alongside gowns. You know what I'm saying? Alongside like tons of, we had a horse and put Desaline on
Y'all have horses? Oh shit, they had horses.
Yo, fun fact. So we had.
But I ain't trust horses since Christopher Reeves.
Stop. We had a
Rip Superman.
We had 2 Gaga bands. You ever heard of a Gaga band before?
Gaga,
right?
No.
Okay, so Gaga band is Gaga music started in Haiti, and it's like a revolutionary sound. It's like a traveling band, and there usually are songs, you know, sung that are tied to liberation and things like that. We had 2 bands there at the parade. And afterwards, it's very customary for people to follow the band out and go wherever the band is going. So the band goes into Central Park and they're playing. And we get word that the horses in Central Park are yeah, they stirred up. They like, we don't know what's going on, but it's lit and we are up and stuck here. So like they had to stop playing because all of the horses that were like giving horse and carriage rides were kind of like,
you had Seabiscuit like, I don't belong here. Give us free.
Seabiscuit was like, what is going
Le Force
on?
ICN. Not really.
That's exactly what was going on. So they was like, yo, we have to kill the music because the horses were getting too excited.
That's crazy.
All they told us was that, like, yo, okay, boom, this is wonderful because next year, when we think about showing up at Central Park West as a big spot to be at, we can think sincerely about making sure that we do land acknowledgements for the Lenape people.
Seneca Village.
We can get with Seneca Village because Central Park is not going to stand in the way of that. You know what I'm saying? They want to recognize that too. So I feel like these are like natural connections that we're making for the next iteration. Because next year's parade is Haiti's 220th birthday.
Wow.
It's a huge deal. So you cannot show up anywhere and be like, I'm the first to do this, and then not recognize the Seneca Village, not recognize the first indigenous people that were here. So I feel like, above all this, and I know this was like a huge rant, but like, I feel like the work that the Melanin Project has been on, work that I feel called to do, is very ancestral in nature. I feel like there are I feel very blessed to be a conduit for what I think at least are some rights that, you know, some righting of some wrongs. Because yes, Haiti is here on Central Park West as the first Afro-Caribbean nation to parade, but it doesn't stop us from opening opportunities for the rest of the Caribbean to, you know, display their culture too. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all connected. It just doesn't stop. Sure, it might not be the same feel, same look as what's happening in Brooklyn. It's different.
Different cadence to the music.
Yeah, it's different and it's all necessary. But I think people often also need to be reminded that there's a very real, like very real, rich, royal history to a lot of our islands. And that should be displayed also. So it was the project of my company's existence to produce it. And so it's a very good feeling. I love to be attached to this. You know, but we do have some more things that we're working on, and this isn't even the end. There are just some other things I would love to do that we're gonna put our energy behind. You know?
Well, this is super impressive. Kudos to you. So now y'all know where she's been. She's been doing shit that's bigger than Savoir, bigger than Stereo.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think one of the things that's great is that what you're talking about, so the fact that y'all was able to bring mad black people to the Upper West Side in Manhattan with a lot of old money, no fights, no NYPD
no
incidents,
the cops loved it. They were like,
easy tour for them.
They were like, yo, we cannot wait till next year. We were like, thank you.
And so the thing is, they went back to their precinct too. People was like, yo, how was it? And it was like, yo, it was actually, yo, they had gowns on and stuff. Because even me, from after looking in, without the knowledge, I would assume that a parade would be, like, I hear parade and Caribbean island, I'm thinking chicks in bati riders and short shorts dubbing.
Right.
Or a lot of, like, I think on the one side there's like the super duper, the Zoflo, everybody going crazy, but then I also think La Manger, like the super lusty, because for those that don't know, Haitians are mad lusty. Don't let them fool you.
We're love-making people.
I've been to several HSA, shout out to HSA in undergrad, Haitian Student Association events used to be wild, lusty. I'm, oh shit.
Yeah, we love it. We love. You know what I'm saying?
There was a lot of like lusty dancing and that kind of stuff, but it's great that you guys were able to have a successful event. But also, I think the storytelling piece of it, right? The fact that you're showing the pageantry and literally telling history via parade is important, because people that don't know would just assume it's, like, they hear parade and assume it's dubbing. Yeah. As opposed to, like, historical. And I think a great way for us as a people to get back to where we need to be is to get back tight to the history of an IT.
Yeah.
And the Caribbean, and understand how it wasn't like you turn a page and it was like, oh, people were trading for spices. No, people fought. People didn't go along with it. Mm-hmm. And what happened back then has a direct impact now, because the only reason why Haiti is not France and France is because they tax Haiti. If you take that tax away, Haiti is France, France is Haiti. Mm-hmm. Economically, at least.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? So I think it's important to tell the story and to try to generate resources and thought behind it, because we can't rely on oppressors to tell history.
Absolutely.
Right? And close friend of mine, I'm like, yo, it's crazy how they don't tell about, you know, Syrian culture and all these like pre-Western cultures, the crusade, pre-crusade, like they don't tell a lot of this stuff. And he was like, yo, when people win wars, they write history. Like, the victors write the history.
That's who writes it, yeah. That's who writes it. And, you know, I do think that, and I think I touched on it before, that, like, I think a big piece of why the parade did really well is because people don't associate beauty and Haiti. You know what I mean? Like, just that level of blackness is how I'm going to describe it. They just don't associate with something that has pageantry in it. It's up to us to tell the stories from our perspectives, to say who you are. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm most proud of being behind this event, because it was us for the first time saying in the middle of the Upper West Side.
Yeah, saying that's why you talk to grandmère, grandpère, talk to your elders and get the knowledge. Yeah. Because as I've said before, up until recently, I don't know, I had Tuskegee earring in my family. Like, these are things that, had I seen Red Tails as a kid and knew that shit was about my uncle, I would have carried it differently. And I think as a people, if we knew what our uncles and aunts did yesteryear to get us to where we are now, we would have a different purpose. But a lot of us are just running around without a purpose. Most other cultures can say, oh, Auntie Ming Lee or Auntie Perestroika or whoever, you know, did so-and-so, and my great-grandma came here from Italy or Ireland or whatever. For us, we just don't, especially in the last few generations, we don't have that historical record, and we don't keep that. So, we got to get back to family reunions. We got to get back to doing things where we pass down the history, take pride in who we are, because if you take away people's history, you take away knowledge of self, it's easy for us to be running around trying to be drill rappers and 57 years old and trying to do the kids' dances and shit like that. Because Brown.
I'm talking with the old. I kind of like that song that came from. Anyway, let me.
No, like it's a wild song, right? But it's like you being somebody with knowledge is different, as opposed to somebody that's 18, 19 thinking
facts.
That's what's up, right? But it's also like, you know, culturally, we need more Haitian parades. We need more. Shout out to the Panamanian parade too. That's another one. That's the first one I saw.
Super lit.
First one I saw that had that kind of like pageantry to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
they walked in our parade,
which is excellent.
Yeah.
Like the other thing too is collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We ain't got to be ops. We can keep the mixiness of the Labor Day parade, but then have the pageantry.
Yep.
And the allegorical aspects of the other ones.
Yeah, pull up on us. Pull up on us next year. Pull up on us. Maybe that's where you display the folkloric costumes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's okay.
So we need all of that because the mayor is there. And that's great. You know, the same mayor that tried to cut funding for a lot of things that got vetoed. Right? Shout out, though, bro. Shout out.
Yes, shout out.
Right? But I feel like these are very important conversations, and it's a very important piece because it's a lot of partying, it's a lot of celebrating. But I'm like, what are we celebrating? Life, existence, okay, but you know, you fast forward, you play around, niggas will be handmaids.
But this is the thing, right? Like, so like the Melanin Project, it's been many things over the years, right? I started this thing back in 2014. And at the time, I just wanted to do lifestyle stuff, right? And without knowing that was a thing for real. But like now, centering it on experiential marketing and on creative design. These are all based off talents I already like had, you know? But in this space now, being able to do cultural event production, and I just feel like it's like super important for us as placemakers, like doing this kind of work in the community development space, because you can do this work for Dove or for any other major label. It doesn't have any kind of social impact. You make your money after you throw an event, and that is what it is.
Right.
But if you do it with the triple bottom line, where you do it where you want to see some kind of social change, you may end up in like community development. That's where I'm at. That's where the Melanin Project kind of has been living in the last couple of years. Is that we're in community development, and because we combine design with systems change, we end up in a subset of community development called creative placemaking. And creative placemaking, ain't no black people in creative placemaking. These are the people who activate your neighborhood. You know, they're the ones who decide to throw a book drive. You know, they're the ones that decide to do a 100 Gates project, and they're painting. They have all these artists out of nowhere that are painting all these gates. They're the ones who decide to bring the arts in. If you have someone who is part of the BIPOC community, someone who is attached to a history that needs to be shared, they can then inform some projects in a way that we have not seen them informed before. So this project was able to kind of come up off the ground because there is a certain level of awareness, me as a designer, artist, placemaker have, that you can bring to the project. You can then inform your smaller events that are marketing them, or marketing the larger parade in a way that would make sense. Yeah, so we're going to be in Little Haiti BK. Yeah, we're going to use these artists that are local to Brooklyn. Yeah, we're going to use these DJs because we're aware at another level of what is important to the community. And as we continue with both the parade and anything related to it, or anything that my company does in specifics, is we appreciate story, right? And culturally competent stories at that. You can like expect more detail. Like, I love being able to go to something and I learned something. I got some free stuff. There might have been a good bite at the thing, you know what I mean? And I got a moment to take a picture. Those are the 4 things that make a memory for me. So I just look to make sure I put those in whatever we're getting ready to do going forward. Like, that's just a baseline for me.
That makes mad sense. Last question on this is, how do you navigate the changes in the community with what you want to do going forward? Because you brought us to the Upper West, which is great.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a lot of social impact on the community.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate that with the changes in the community? T-shop poles pulling up, buying everything. You got a lot of new people in the community. So how do you navigate that? And still like meet your objectives?
So I got some really good advice during the parade process. Someone that I know for a long time, they've been in like international program management, project management, said to me, stick to the people who you was with from the beginning that understand the script. Like, stick to the people who were 10 toes. Because whenever you have a revolutionary idea, it's going to be the people who was with you from the beginning who are going to help you execute it.
Got it.
You understand? So it's more like because the landscape is forever changing. The political landscape is ever changing. The community development, the economic development landscape is ever changing. The city doesn't look the same. Right. There are things we knew even growing up that aren't there anymore, and now there are other things in its place. The shit is ever always changing. So you need to just make sure that the people who are still active, who you knew you could put your bottom dollar on, are still in the business with you. So that way, you know, when you're like, yo, I don't really like the way this looks, I want to do something around that. That you can lean on them and you can trust them. It doesn't also mean that there aren't people who are entering the stage that you can trust going forward. But you really want to put most of your leverage in the people that you know. And then as you're bringing these new people on, or you're assessing whether or not these new policies or whatever actually hold up, you know, you can like judge with ease, because all your money not on these new people, it's on the older folk. So you know, if we're moving with time, the next year, one person from your older group drops off and says, I'm done now, I'm retired, I'm out the game, right? I'm just wisdom now. Right. You know, this new person, if you were teasing them out while you were there with the OG, you know, you can sense how valid this person is. So now if this person steps out, you're still in the business. You could be like, you know what, I might be able to have an ally for real for this project with this person. You know what I mean? You know them that much more. The OG ain't go nowhere for real. They're just not active, you know? So you want to be able to do some of that, where you can have some of the new and some of the old at the same time. And that was a blessing that I got on this project, was that I'm dealing with people who have been in music for 30 years. I'm dealing with people who've been in politics for 20 years. I'm dealing with people who have been in education for 20 years. And so it's a lot of OGs from different places. Everybody ain't even rocking with the project. You know what I'm saying? So now I have even more diversity in terms of opinion. And where we're really going to see it shine is in the parades going forward, or in any of the activations going forward, because, you know, the parade is not solely the parade. The parade is also, you know, any supplemental activation we have. It's also a fundraiser. It's also a book drive. It's also anything else that we think the community might need. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, my advice would be to just kind of like rock with the people who got your 10. Whoever's holding you down right now, you got to stick there. And then while you have the comfort of having them, you know, you can suss out or vet the newer that's coming in and see if, okay, I want to play in Rochester County right now. Who's in Rochester County?
All right, so I mean, that's great to see you out here doing important work.
Thank you so
much.
Important
work. You know, it wouldn't be us if we didn't, you know, take it back to the throwback old school topics, dating wise.
Lord, have mercy.
I know, loaded like nachos.
Oh my God, yes.
But I saw something recently where a woman was like, why would you not want a woman with a high body count? Why would you want a woman that don't know what she's doing? And people were like, yo, I reposted it. People were like, yo, why would you post that? It's not a thing.
Yeah.
People aren't talking about that. And I'm like, people with sense are not. But people that rely on the internet for their news and their livelihood are. So, we don't have to necessarily that specific thing, but I think the repeat comment I get is that the dating pool is full of piss and all that kind of stuff. And in talking to you, it feels like you kind of dispel a lot of that. So, I'm on the outside looking in, right? Like, I'm not dating, right?
Yeah, I'm out here, guys.
But when I'm moving around my territory at these different places, you know, the Lipses, the, you know, Sweet Catches, the Rogers Gardens, the Rum Bars, etc., definitely feels like a lot of desperation in the air. A lot of pheromones are being, like, pumped into the air. People are, like, super desperate. So,
said pheromones are in the air.
What positive message would you spread to the people then, so that they can keep their wits about them and not pack it all in and, you know, join Pound Town full time?
Or my booty hole brown.
And what's the other one? The chick with the big nose.
Who?
Eating.
Oh, yeah. Sukiana. Suki with the Gucci.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot. Like, you know, Suki. There's a lot to unpack there. So I won't go down that street. But
I mean, I don't know how we went from LMA to Sukiana. Well, LMA to Scissor to Sukiana. Like, how do we get it?
Listen, Listen, here's what I would say about the dating pool. This is what I would say about the dating pool. I'm in it, you know. I know I've also been a part of the group that has been like, the dating pool has piss in it. Da, da, da. Yes. I have run into my fair share of corners of the pool that definitely have piss in it. Okay. But I think piss is relative, to be honest. I think what one may call piss, somebody else may not call piss. I would also say that like there is, well, not also, but yeah, also. I find that there are a lot of qualified, wonderful people in the dating pool. I will call it a blessing that it has not been my experience that I'm running into homosexuals. I'm not running into, I got 6 different baby mamas and I'm just trying to make you number 7. I'm not running into, you know, I'm not even running into the guys that are like, what do you bring to the table? I'm not running into those guys. I'm running into, and maybe it's because they meet me in the world kind of doing my own thing, and so these men kind of meet me ready to give me stuff, as opposed to like, you know, what are you doing for this partnership? Like I've always been ready to work for partnerships, so that's not what I'm needing. But like, I think there's hope there still. It really just depends on, I think if you have been doing the club thing, if you have been doing the, and now it's not a club thing, because people don't do clubs like that anymore. Now. Not even lounges, no. It's going to the linkages that are maybe $40-$50 on the price tag, like, and I don't want to drop no labels, because I don't want to disparage anybody's anything, because all of it's lit. But it's when the linkages now, the club now is the curl fesses. You get what I'm saying? Like, people are presenting a face at those things, and they're attracting people with those things because it's in alignment with whoever they're selling. Was Ice Spice at Curl Fest? I don't know if Ice Spice was at Curl Fest, but she should have been, because that curly red, you know, hair fro is a look. But I think you are often got at some of those events because people go to things that are aligned up with the persona they're selling. You know, which is why I feel like God bless the coffee shops, because that's where I've been blessed at. I really do work out of coffee shops. I really do work. You know, I'll do design work at a bar, and that's where I meet another designer, another photographer, or another something. And so that's really what's worked for me. And then I create spaces. I teach yoga. I teach esoteric. So there are men those are not traditional spaces for men, right? Like, to be in the yoga. I to this moment, I don't know why my homegirls do not come to yoga class more often. I'm like, the brothers be in yoga, okay? The brothers be stretching, y'all, all right? They be touching their toes and stuff. And I do not get why the sisters do not come to yoga. They don't come to the retreats, the breath work. There are men there literally working on themselves. Because these chicks want to go to Pound Town and sing about... These guys be at Pound Town? I'm saying... They be at Pound Town! It's a disconnect. I don't know if the same... So, the thing before is that we've always had, like, the ratchet music. Yeah. But it was a subset. It was, like, option 7. Option 1 was, like, Dance With My Father, or, like... Even Adina Howard, when she came out, it was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Right? She was BET Uncut for the most part. Yeah, you had a lot of like... She was. Even TLC, like Red Light Special, it was like, it was coded. Mm-hmm. Baby is yours, alright. If you want it tonight. Okay, you better know the words. All through the night. Yes, that was it. Now, they was talking crazy in the song, but it was that on the same album, the next single was Digging On You. Digging on me, digging on me, digging on me, digging on me, ooh, baby, baby. Right, so, and then it was also at the same time, right here. Oh, the SWV remix, yes. No, right. My favorite song of all time is "Use Your Heart" by SWV. Did you know that? I don't know that song. Do I know that song? That's a Savoir Brooklyn fun fact. Now you guys know me. I did not know that, but yeah, I still remember Use Your Heart by SWV. I'm gonna look that up because I still remember the SWV Free Willy, like the whale was going on in the video. Right?
But I'm saying you always had like the nasty shit, but it wasn't the focal point. Now you gotta go find the smooth shit because the nasty shit is way more prominent. And then with social media, right? There's no 106 Park. There's no Teen Summit. We don't have the same platforms to kind of buttress. No pun intended. We don't have the same platforms to buttress the shit that's being pumped out, right? So I think that impacts the dating pool for those that don't have the right frame of reference. If all your friends are single and they out here every weekend going to Pound Town or Sack Town or wherever else, it's different than if your frame of reference is your parents have been together 60 years and your friends are all seriously dating. Yeah. So I think that frame of reference point, it does play in. But I know when I'm outside, it definitely feels like a lot of pheromones. I don't want to say desperation, but it feels a lot like if I walk away from my wife for like a split second,
it's like, oh, who's he?
It's like damn near child, well, not trafficking, but it's like in some of these places you can get snatched up quickly. Yeah. Right? Well, really passive, because women most of the time won't say, hey, I like you and I want you. But really a really passive aggressive thing, like you go to the bar and just like the chicks are just like looking.
Is that how they look? Like that with the leaning?
Or they just like, you might get boob on your
boobs.
On your lat.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're putting boobs on the Latissimus Dorsey?
Boob on back. It's crazy outside. It's crazy outside, you heard?
Boob on back. Listen.
Boob on back is crazy.
Let me tell you.
It's crazy outside.
Boob on back is wild. Listen, yo.
It's crazy. And the thing is, I'll be going out like dressed super casual. Like I don't throw like my threads on. Like I'll throw like
you do something like some calm on, and they was going crazy like, for the calm fit.
I was calmly in Rogers Garden. I'm like, damn.
Help! Where's Jazzy?
I'm gonna have to get out of here. At some point, I was like, yo, I'm gonna have to leave a little early. I was in I was only in there for like 20 minutes, and I'm just like, damn.
Yo, listen, you know what? I'm telling you, our biggest issue right now as a culture is that we have underestimated too much. We went through a pandemic for 2 to 3 years where people were in complete silos. Okay, people aren't touching, hugging, sharing a kind word. They're not doing a lot with other people. So we do now have a bunch of people who have realized, damn, some of my connections have been superficial or they ain't been shit this entire time, and now I want some real shit because I could die. That's what's going on with folks, right? And then beyond that, you then have, groups that are forming out of this with certain ideologies that either like support one type of behavior or another. I think that we need to stop underestimating how much loneliness, because I think we have an epidemic of loneliness that's going on right now, and that's why people are doing things that they shouldn't, that they're stepping out of their character to do in order to make sure that they're having some kind of relationship or some kind of level of connection. And I don't mean to say this in a way that it's like, oh, the people that are experiencing this are beneath me, because they don't even need, during the pandemic, I lived in Jersey for like 2 years. There was a part where I was like, dang, it really feels like a special kind of alone, right?
Jersey, particularly Newark, Ivy Hill, Irvington, different kind of struggle out there.
Different.
They still think it's 2000.
Looks like it. But shout out to Jersey, because Newark is how this way. Newark took care of me. I met some very beautiful people in Newark. But yes. To the point where it's like there's this special kind of breed of loneliness, and I think people are trying to traverse that. It's like, I want real connection. I want to be able to like live authentically too, because at the same time that you're noticing that you're lonely, you're noticing that you haven't been yourself either. So your interests are not what you thought they were, like, what you thought you could tolerate or what you couldn't tolerate, you can't anymore. Like, so you're just literally a brand new person. And I think that's why the dating pool is so confusing, because there's a lot of people who are confused by their very own selves at this point, and they're just trying to make some shit work. The key to this might just be an understanding that one, no one else is going to solve your problem. Loneliness is not a problem that needs to be solved by somebody else. That never leads to anything healthy. You get what I'm saying? It never leads to anything healthy. If you would love to share your world with somebody, that looks different, right? One, you need to be engaged in that world yourself. So that means anything that you're looking to share, you need to be already doing for you. So movies at the park. If you like that shit, you should already be taking yourself to that. If you like date nights, you should already be doing that shit. If you have a
dinner for one it's okay with dinner for one.
I love dinner for ones. I love dinner for ones. You know, if you have a spiritual practice, you should already be implementing some of that for you. Even if your partner comes through or someone who you would love to be a partner at some point, you know, they're being introduced to your practice, you know, they might not necessarily pick it up or identify with it in the way that you do. But if they meet you with a solid practice, you can at least expect a partner who's going to make room for your practice.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? So I think it's really just we have underestimated the impact of the pandemic. We have underestimated the impact of all this isolation. This is why we have a bunch of people coming together now that are just like, I don't give a fuck what niggas need to do. I'm just trying to get to this person immediately, so I'm gonna do this, you know? And so it's looking depraved out here. It's looking very, you know, by any means necessary in this bitch. And so the people who do stick out, at least to me, are people who don't fall for that, because I myself do my best to try to not fall for that, you know. So if you could hold it down and just make sure that you're not for the streets, I can do that on my end, and hopefully, you know, at some place we connect or whatever.
Nah, that makes sense. Tell them where they can find you. You know, obviously they can still find you at Savoir, Brooklyn, but tell them all your socials, where they can find you, what you got going on, all that good stuff.
Definitely. So when I am not serving as a, you know, through the Melanin Project, which is, again, an experiential and creative design company, when I am not in the placemaking space and doing that, I do teach yoga and esoterics. That is feels like my heart, where my heart is at. And I have a 420 cannabis yoga experience at Far Rockaway Park, July 30th. You can find, if you want more information or you want to be on the list, the email blast that I share all of my yoga happenings with, you can visit me at Hat5he5ut on Instagram. And
you gotta spell that, because they're not gonna know how to spell it.
Yes, I will. HAT5. I should pop up with the yellow turban, but if not, the rest of the words are HAP5 again, UT. Hat5he5ut. 5's where the S's are. And if you go in the link, you can sign up for the for my group there. I will have a Patreon that's lit before.
You got a Patreon?
I'm gonna have a Patreon. Yes, I'm gonna have a Patreon before August 1st hits. So that way, people who want just yoga and who just want the esoterics, they can get a recording of our monthly link ups. And the people who want yoga and esoterics, there's a different tier for you, and you can join me on that. But we'll see each other a lot more frequently. But beyond that, if you want to follow the Melanin Project, it's at the Melanin Project on Instagram, and it's www. Is that more than one W? Is that more than 4 W's?
Nah, that was 3. It's 3.
Are you sure? Let me do it one more time. www.themelaninproject.com.
There you go.
And you'll be able to see what my company does, what we have done. And currently, I know my webmaster is putting some things from the parade up right now, so you might be able to check out some photos from the parade and things like that, or official recap videos and stuff of that nature. And then the last piece is that we are actually programming Haitian Elements of Brooklyn Museum for August 1st, Saturday.
There you go.
We will be having... That's soon. We will be having a performative lecture on Voodoo Heritage by Errol Josue, who was the parade's artistic curator. And then we'll have a let-out kind of processional with the Haitian Gaga band.
Gaga.
Yes, Plaisir Gaga. You know, maybe, I'll let you know.
My band sponsor.
Yes, listen, we already talking to them. Okay. So we don't know where it'll land by the time this come out. But shout out to Baba Cool. But we are, Plizzy Gaga will be closing out the night, and then we'll be doing like maybe a little fundraiser for the project so we can keep the projects going. And in September, we're looking to be in South Africa.
Nice.
Yes, because we are joining Miss Heritage 2022, who is Haitian of descent. and she is looking to add Haitian heroes to the wall of heroes in South Africa. So we're gonna try to capture that. So that's what's on the horizon after the museum.
Nah, that's super duper fire, man.
Yeah.
Great to have you up here. You know, like I said, it's the home base, but everybody gotta, you know, go out and drop their solo album, but we really come back together.
Facts.
My parting words are, the merch is here.
Post no bills, baby. What's up? No free advert, nothing. What's going on?
Only question is, do you got yours yet? You got yours yet? You can go to Lips and tap in at Lips and go get yours. Shout out to the bro God Jermaine.
What's up with you, Mr. Weeks? Mama Donna, what's poppin'?
And my parting words are, listen, old me is gone. I'm what remains. Darth Vader and Kenobi voice.
One time for that. My parting words are, yo, don't be afraid to represent. Yeah, don't be afraid to represent. You can always be new. You could always be what you wanted to be. You could just be it. Just decide Monday, I'm gonna be that, and then be that. Whoever ain't fucking with it, ain't fucking with you.